Yo, what's going on everyone? Guiding Light here back with a first Descendant guide. In this one, I'll show you how to complete the Divine Punishment research quest. Now, this is a pretty long quest. It has a lot of steps in it, but at the end of it, you're going to get a pretty insane weapon. Now, it is something you can craft, and you probably are wondering how it is you can wrap up this quest. So what you want to do is come over to the crafting and look over at the weapon section. You're going to see the Divine Punishment here. Now, there's a bunch of different parts you're going to have to get in order to actually get this weapon. And as you can see here, there's 3 different parts and the actual blueprint for the weapon itself. Now, if you're missing any of these parts, I'll walk you guys through how it is you can get every single one of them. However, it is a bit of a grind. It may take a bit of time. Now, the first one we're going to look at is the synthetic fiber blueprint. If you look here, it says you can get it at the Stunning Beauty boss fight. Now, the thing is you're also going to need the materials pattern 10. What that means is that you actually have to go into your inventory and look and make sure you have this specific key, because at the end of that boss fight, there's going to be a chest you can open, and the only way to open it is with that key. So if you guys don't have the key itself, I'll show you guys where you can get it, but basically go into your inventory. It says you need the number 10 key. So just make sure you have it on you before going into the boss fight. Now, if you guys don't have the key or you run out, because every time you run the boss, you're going to have to use up one of your keys, you will have to then go into the mission which drops the key, and I'll show you guys exactly which mission that is. So if we go back in here, look at that part, we're going to be able to go onto that mission. And it says right here how you're going to be able to get the key. So it says pattern 10. You can only find pattern 10 during the mission of the laboratory in the sterile land. So now what you'll have to do if you don't have enough keys, or if you run out of keys, is you're going to have to go and run the mission over in the sterile land called the laboratory. Now, the laboratory has a guaranteed chance of dropping this key. So you can just run this 2 or 3 times, get maybe 2 or 3 keys stacked up, and then try your chance at the blueprint part back at the boss. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, and it actually kind of is, because you have to do this for every single part for this weapon. So this is just the first step. We're going to head over there now. Go to the sterile lands. I'll show you the exact mission you have to run. I just marked it there on the map. Once we get to sterile lands, you can see here, there's the mission. If we look at the loot rewards, you'll see that it does drop the key we're looking for, the number 10, and it's 100% drop chance. So every time you do this mission, you're going to get that key guaranteed. So follow this path. I'll take you guys directly to the mission, because it is up all the way in the back of this. And that's why I say maybe run it 2 or 3 times in a row. Once the mission's done, just restart it, because if you don't, you're going to have to run here every single time to get it done. So once you get to this mission, run it on public, and you'll just double check. You'll see that you do get the drop here, and it's a 100% drop chance. So just run this through. As soon as you defeat the boss and complete the mission, you should get a guaranteed key to drop. So here we are at the end of the mission. As soon as the boss is defeated, you'll do the last step, and you'll start to see all the drops for completing the mission start to roll in. Now, as you can see, we got the number 10 key that we're looking for, but keep in mind, you're only going to get one of them, and it may take multiple attempts to get this drop. So you may want to just run the mission back to back, and so you stack up enough keys. Now, once you have enough keys, we're going to go and run the boss mission in hopes that we get this drop. So in order to do the boss mission, remember it said that we had to do the interceptor mission. So we're going to go and run that now very quickly. I'll show you how to do it. You're going to come up to this vendor here in the center, the interceptor mission. You're going to run Stunning Beauty. You can run it on public. Now, once the boss is done, make sure not to back out, because there's a special chest you have to open. I'll show you where it's at. So just start matchmaking up, run through the boss fight like you would probably already completed back in the storyline. So once you defeat the boss, there will be a special chest you have to open with the key that we just received. So now that the boss drops, you'll see this open up. Use your key on this, and as you can see, when you click on it, it's going to give you guys 4 or 5 different potential drops. The one we're looking for here is all the way on the right. You'll see it is the blueprint. For the Divine Punishment here on the far right, it has a 39% drop chance. Now, I had to run this mission probably 6 or 7 times in order for this to drop. So if you don't get it on your first try, it is probably a little normal. You will have to potentially just run it again. And that's why I said to stack up a few keys in order to make sure that you can just do the boss over again very quickly. So as you can see here, I finally ended up getting the drop after running it again. It's just confirmation that this is how you get it. If you've been endlessly running it and you don't think that it's going to drop, or maybe you thought you're doing the wrong mission, you're not, but it may take a few tries. So here I ended up getting this piece of the blueprint. Now we can go back to Albion and look back at the crafting page. So now that we're at the crafting page, we'll thus just double check. You'll start to see that we're starting to collect all the components we need, but it will take a few more steps in order to get all of the parts together. So go back over here into weapons. You'll see we finally have that first component. Now we can move on to the second one, and it's pretty similar. You have to go and run missions for a key, but at this time it's going to be a different mission. So make sure to start crafting that first component. You will have to research it. It takes about 2 hours, so make sure you start doing that before moving on to the next step so that you don't waste any time. Now next up, we're going to have to get the nano tube. There's a 15% drop chance for this part. And then as you can see, we still have 2 more parts in the blueprint we still have to collect before we can finally craft the entire weapon. So just like with the first part, we're going to have to run another mission, which will require a key to go to a boss fight. Now this time around, you're going to need to get part 22, as you can see here in the Dead Bride. Now part 22 will only drop from a very specific mission, and I'll show you guys where you can find that mission. Just like before, check your inventory, double check and make sure you don't already have one of these keys. If you already have one of the keys, you can just go jump straight into the boss. If you don't have the key, what you'll want to do is go and run this mission here in the Echo Swamp. So here's the exact mission that drops the keys you will need. It's called the Seed Vault. So you can farm this mission up and collect a few keys if you need them. So once again, if you don't have the keys, part 22, you're going to go over here into the swamp. You're going to run this exact mission here in the bottom right corner. It's called the Seed Vault. There's a 100% chance to drop the key. So it's the same step as step 1, just a different mission for the next part. So go ahead and get yourself some keys stacked up, and then I'll show you guys which boss you need to do. So just like with the original part, what you now need to do is go and run the boss fight, but this time go into the Dead Bride. Just like before, you're going to open up the chest that's going to drop after the boss. So once the boss is over, don't just immediately leave. Open up the chest, use the key, part 22, to get the part that we're looking for. Now keep in mind it's not guaranteed. Now just like with step 1, when we finally got that drop for one of the parts, for that blueprint, we can now finally craft it. And you want to make sure you do this right away because like I said, guys, it takes about 2 hours. And you want to make sure that when you get these parts, you just start crafting them. That way you don't have to wait like 4 or 6 hours to get them later. So go back to weapon, go down to Devine Punishment. We now have the third part here. It has taken a while, but we can finally begin to craft it using this nano tube. Now the final piece you will need is going to be the blueprint itself. And I'll show you guys how you can finally get this. So in order to get this blueprint, it's very similar in order to get the parts, except this time, instead of getting one of the other keys, we're going to have to go and get this key, the number 14 key. So just like before, in order to stack up these keys, we're going to have to go and run yet another mission. I'll show you guys where this mission is. You're going to go over into this exact location, and it will drop these keys once you unlock it. So you have to go to Vespers for this one. You're going to have to do the Loot Supply Depot. Now, unlike the other parts, unfortunately, this one is not a 100% drop chance for the keys. So it's actually only a 20% drop chance. Now, not only is it only a 20% drop chance, but you can only run this activity once every 5 minutes. So very quickly now, we'll head over to Vespers. I'll show you how to start doing this. You will have to farm it a bit unless you get lucky, get it on your first try. We're going to go to Vespers. It's pretty close to the spawn. I'll take you guys there, and I'll show you how to complete the mission as well. Now, once you guys finally get this drop, you can go back and craft the entire weapon, which will then take a bit of time, and you're going to have to use some cash for it as well. So that's all of the steps on how you will finally complete this quest line and also unlock the Devine Punishment weapon. So very quickly, guys, the final step in order to get this blueprint is going to be to come here and complete the Infiltrate Strike. Now, in order to do this, it's actually a really easy mission. That's why it's a downside that you have to wait 5 minutes every time to do it. You're going to see these 3 canisters. All you have to do is simply destroy all 3 canisters and then defeat the boss. So as you can see, you can tear straight through this activity in like 30 seconds. But in order to restart it, you'll have to come back every 5 minutes in order to hopefully get one of those keys that only has the 20% drop chance. Now, once you finally get one of those keys, you will have to just do one final mission, which is the Void Fusion Reactor. Lost Supply Depot over on Vespers. So once you have that pattern, just go over to Vespers. You'll have the key to unlock the chest at the end of this mission, just like before with all the other parts. So run this mission now with those keys. unlock the chest for the blueprint, and you'll be able to finally craft this weapon and get the quest completed. So hopefully this helped y'all out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.